Good evening, and I welcome you, students. Our session is going on for question answers for various competitions like NEET, GE, and what we are doing. Some important questions, students. Before we begin our session, students, there is 1 minute breathing exercise to relax our mind, and that we already know about Nadi Shuddhi. You have, arteries and veins, arteries and veins. we what we are doing, pumping of pure oxygen, and exhaling, what we are exhaling, carbon dioxide, the detox. So we want to clean our system. Along with that, what happens is there is a lot of stress in our mind. Why stress is there? You are working the whole day, solving questions, exam, all this pressure is going on. So we want to release the negative energies which are in our mind. We before we study, we want to empty our. What I want to do, students, empty the mind. The mind should be empty. The mind should be clear. We should be relaxed when we take a class, students. And for that, I hope you have already done with me. Nadi Shuddhi, did you do it?
Yes, sir.
Inhale from the left, hold for count 10. Inhale 10, hold 10, and exhale from the left. Inhale, exhale from the right, then inhale from the right, hold, exhale from the left. We will make 3 rounds of that. So that, close your eyes, students, close your eyes, sit comfortably. I'm putting, this is the thumb on the right nostril, the 2 fingers are on the left nostril. Okay, begin. Inhale from the left nostril, students. Come back, students. Rub your hands. Experience the heat energy, healing energy, healing energy. Massage your face, massage your eyes, eyebrows, forehead, your head, entire face, your neck, students, and your head. Your brain has got 2 hemispheres, left part of the brain, right part of the brain. Both should be inward when we work, students. Gently open your eyes with a smile, with a smile. So I hope you are relaxed, students.
Yes, sir.
You relaxed. Okay. So what we are doing, students, we are relaxed. All right, we are back, students, with a lot of relaxation and positive energy. So we can start our question answer sessions for the competition papers which we want to go. Okay. Today we have with us important question, MCQ question, students. MCQ questions are coming, students, on inorganic chemistry. You are aware, students, that transition metals are very, very important. Transition elements are very important, and questions from transition elements are usually filled up in the different papers. Can you tell me, student, what is the most important thing about transition elements? Why do we study transition element? What is so important about the transition elements? I mean, what makes anything important are their properties. What are the important properties of the transition elements, which we can say in a flash? What they have? Transition.
Incompletely filled d orbitals.
I'm not talking of what is the definition of transition element that we already know. I said what are the main characteristics or properties of the transition elements where the questions are going to be there, students. Properties of transition elements which are different from other elements. Why we call them as transition elements? What property? They are metals, they are malleable, they are ductile, they have colors, they have magnetic properties, they can form alloys, they can form interstitial compounds, they form complexes. All this we are aware of it. What makes them important, students? So important: colored compounds, magnetic properties, paramagnetism. You have seen and read about them. Then we have studied in transition element, D block elements, F block elements. How the lanthanides, actinoids, radioactive elements. What is the difference between lanthanides and actinoids, student? F block element. So many things, so much variety is there, so much use as a catalyst. Transition elements find tremendous use as catalyst in the industries. And you have seen in coordination compounds, they are acting as metals in large number of cases. Your hemoglobin has iron. So all this is important. We are aware of it, student. Their physical and atomic properties also we are aware of. Their ionization enthalpies, their atomic and ionic radii, lanthanide contraction. All these things we know, and their reduction potential values we have seen, student. Copper is positive and others negative, means they can act as a reducing agent. So knowing all this, we could be able to solve questions. We are aware of it, students. The first question is coming, student. The transition metals despite high E0 are poor reducing agents. Poor reducing agents. You know what is a reducing agent, students? If I ask you what is a reducing agent in chemistry, student?
Which itself get oxidized and reduces the other compound.
Which reduces the other. Can you tell me in the periodic table which are the best and the strongest reducing agents which we have?
Alkali metals.
Alkali metals or S block elements? Only alkali metals? You have alkaline earth metals?
S block elements.
Alkaline, alkaline earth metals also, student. What is important when we talk of the reducing agent, student? What property we use, what physical property we use to find the reducing power? What do we study in order to say
E0 values.
what are E0 values, student? Standard reduction potential values.
Values.
If what do you mean by standard reduction? If the value is, what type of value should be there for a good reducing agent? When you say lithium is a very strong reducing agent, what it means, student? The reduction potential will be of what type of reduction potential? It will have minus, positive, or what?
It will have minus.
More
reduction.
negative the reduction
negative.
potential, because these are written like Mn plus 2m. So more negative this value is, a more this is stable. That means more this will go through this state. This is more stable, it will lose electron. It will lose electron, therefore it will undergo oxidation, therefore it will act as a reducing agent. So we are aware of that, that what are the factors on which E0 value depends? On what factors it depends? When we calculated E0 value, students, what factors were used in order to calculate standard electrode potential values? How do you calculate the values of E0 factors, students? What factors are used? Atomization energy, ionization enthalpies, hydration enthalpy, all this we told you. And when we sum up all this in solution, student, then you will get the value of E0 values. So here the question is based on transition metals despite high E0 oxidation are poor reducing agent. The incorrect reason is, what is the incorrect reason?
LED. Yep. Complex forming nature. D.
This has no connection with what we are talking about. You know, we have shown you what the values are, on what factors they depend. So it doesn't depend anything. Complex formation has nothing to do with it. Okay? This
Yes,
is
sir.
the incorrect reason. Incorrect reason, student. Unless you see why we are doing so much work. Why we are doing so much work. We could have said, okay, this is the answer. But that is not our point here. We want to learn something because the question could not be this in the paper. He will change the question, and we know when we talking of E naught values, we should know what it is and how do we calculate these values, students. All right, next question is coming on the screen. Student, which of the following has magnetic moment value of 5.9? 5.9, student.
5.9.
Now can we do it without doing? The answer is no. So we have to solve it, students. We have to do it.
Yes, sir. Fe2. Sir, Fe3 plus. B.
Why? Fe3 plus how many unpaired electrons?
Fe3 plus has 5 unpaired electrons.
What is the atomic number of iron?
26.
26. That means 4s2 3d6 argon 18. Okay. Now you have Fe3 plus will be how much?
3d5.
3d5. Number of unpaired electrons 5.
5.
If 5 is unpaired electrons, then we know the value of magnetic moment will be about around 6, less than something around 6, 5.9 Bohr
Yes,
magnet.
sir.
So we already did it so well that how do we calculate the magnetic moments, and what is the value of mu is equal to square root of n plus 2, which n is the number of unpaired electrons, student. We know about it. Such questions will be there in the paper because magnetic moment is important property and will be asked students in the question papers. Transition metal, when I write electronic configuration, is the key to them because unless we know it, we cannot answer large number of questions that must be learned by all the students before they go for any exam. Question number 3 is coming on the screen. Anomalous electronic configuration in the 3D series are of. Question number 3.
Okay. Chromium and copper. D.
What is the electron configuration of chromium? What is the atomic number of chromium?
24.
What is the electronic configuration of chromium, student?
Argon 3d5 4s1.
4s1.
3d5.
And copper, what is the atomic number?
Copper is 29.
Then how do you write?
Argon 3d10 4s1.
3d10 4s1. So these are anomalous.
Yes, sir.
Why they are anomalous?
Sir, because according to the convention, for chromium, it should be 4s2 3d4, and for copper, it should be 4s2 3d9.
Half filled,
But half filled and fully filled are more stable.
completely filled,
Are more stable.
are extra stable. There is a reason for everything because pairing energy is involved, students. Electrons are like bar magnets. Bar magnets. So everything is energy. Energy, wherever energy is lowered, that state becomes more stable. If more energy is required, then what will happen? The state will become less stable as it gets higher to a higher energy state. This is the law of nature. Question number 4 is on the screen, student. Which of the following deep are but not regarded as transition element? This question put up so many times in the paper.
But not Zinc, cadmium, Hg. B
Wha-
option.
What is the reason?
Because all of them have completely filled d orbital.
Then what happens?
So they don't fit in the definition of transition elements.
I mean, that was the only thing, or there was something more than that? They do not have partially filled d orbital in the ground or in one of their common oxidation states. That said that in common oxidation state they can have partially filled d, then they will also become what they will become transition elements. Next question is coming on the screen. Copper sulfate 5H2O is blue in color because. Fifth question.
Water of crystallization. Because it contains water of crystallization. A.
Here you can see what we are talking about, that we already know. It contains water of crystallization. It contains water of crystallization as absorbs red light. Copper 2 ions can absorb orange red light. We have told you the color is due to absorption of the light, and what you observe is complementary colors. So we have shown you a cycle also, what type of complementary colors are there in the NCERT book. They have shown complementary colors.
But sir, the water will act as a ligand and will cause a splitting of d orbitals.
That is already known to us. He is not comparing copper sulfate and hydrous or anything. But what is the reason? What absorbs light? So here there will be absorption of orange red light, and it will give you blue color, complementary color.
Okay.
What is the complementary color? So this is the most appropriate answer here.
Okay.
Transition element form alloys easily because they have alloy formation depends on what student. Why should anything form alloys? Alloy formation.
Let's see. Nearly same atomic size. C.
We know that student. What are alloys? What are alloys?
Uh, they are the homogeneous solid solutions which are prepared by mixing different components.
Why should they mix if they have similar?
Similar
If
size.
they have almost same atomic size, then they are likely to mix. They are likely to mix, students. So this is one of the factors. Which one of the following characteristic of transition metal is associated with higher catalytic activity?
Higher category. Variable oxidation states.
High enthalpy of atomization has nothing to do with that. Paramagnetic behavior, colors of hydrate ion, nothing. Variable oxidation state, we told you. because they can show variable oxidation state, as we have seen in the case of iron 2 and iron 3. We have given a reaction also in which we have shown how the oxidation state changes and they act as catalysts. So variable oxidation state is something which is related with their higher catalytic activity, and it provides a alternate path, lower activation energy for the reaction to take place, students. Next question is coming on the screen, students. Question number 8 is coming. Which of the following has maximum number of unpaired electrons? Again, we go back to the electron configuration, write them down and find out.
Fe2 plus.
Fe2 plus, students.
Yes,
How
sir.
many unpaired electrons? Magnesium 2 plus?
In magnesium 2 plus, no unpaired electron.
No unpaired electrons. Then what is this? Neon? What is Ti3 plus?
Ti3 plus is 3D1. So it has one
3D1.
unpaired electron.
18 argon 3D1. What is vanadium 3 plus?
Vanadium 3 plus is 3D2.
And what is Fe2 plus?
Fe2 plus 3D6.
So maximum number of unpaired electrons is in Fe2 plus. So the electronic configuration is a very important question in the case of the transition elements. A lot of questions can be answered on the next question is on the screen. The property which is not characteristic of transition metal is.
The property which is not a characteristic. Natural radioactivity.
That is the correct answer. Variable oxygen, they showed they form complexity, they form colored compounds. Natural radioactivity, that is the correct answer, is not characteristic of transition elements. Where you see radioactive elements, students? Which where are you finding?
Actinoids.
Actinides are almost all the radioactive elements. You have seen that transuranium elements, they cannot be, they are not occurring in nature. They are synthesized in the nuclear reactors. Question number 10 is on the screen. Which of the following is incorrect for KMnO4 to be used as an oxidizing agent? To be used as an oxidizing agent. Is KMnO4 used as an oxidizing agent?
Yes, sir.
Why? It is a good oxidizing agent, students.
Yes, sir.
In acidic medium, in neutral or alkaline, or in what medium we use? Important reactions are there in the book for the oxidizing property of potassium permanganate.
Its oxidizing nature is mainly in acid.
Okay, what it says? Which of the following is incorrect? HCl cannot be used because some KMnO4 is consumed in the reaction. Nitric acid is not because it itself acts as self-oxidizing agent. Equivalent weight of KMnO4 in basic medium is 158. Number of electrons in oxidation KMnO4 in acidic medium is 3. Which is the incorrect statement they are saying. Incorrect.
D.
This statement is correct, first one?
Yes, sir.
Correct. What will happen if you add HCl?
It will be used in the reaction.
What reaction will take place? A question has been asked on this. What reaction takes place, student, when KMnO4 is added with HCl? What reaction will take place? What will happen? Anyway, chlorine gas will be evolved. You should know the number of how many electrons are involved when KMnO4 is in acidic medium. How many electrons are involved when KMnO4 is in acidic medium, students? If 3 is not the right answer, you are saying, then how many electrons are there?
KMnO4 Mn with 7C. 5 electrons.
You should be able to write the equation. Very important, student. This equation is very important. You have seen what you have seen, MnO4 plus 8H plus 5 electrons. You have seen that it goes to where? Mn2 plus. So this equation, you have to complete this equation. You know what is happening. This equation, water and all that. What we are trying to say, student, you should know the equation when it acts as an oxidizing agent in acidic medium, in basic medium, in neutral medium. How many electrons are there? What will be the equivalent weights? We have discussed this in that chapter of KMnO4, and there is another one, K2Cr2O7. Very important. 1-2 questions are always asked on this. In our YouTube lecture, we have given in detail about KMnO4 and K2Cr2O7 and their method of preparation, their colors, acid medium, base medium. Very important, very important. Questions will be there on these two very important compounds, very useful. They are in great demand and they are used a lot, students. Pyrolusite and how they are prepared, all that. Chromite ore. We did that. Which transition element, student, can show highest oxidation state? Which transition element can show highest oxidation state, students?
It is OSC.
Osmium, you know how much it shows. Maximum oxidation state is shown by osmium and one more element. What is the oxidation state shown by osmium?
Osmium will show it shows +8.
And in 3D series, which element shows the maximum oxidation state?
Manganese
What is that?
+7.
So this is the highest which is possible, and osmium, one more element is there which also shows +8 oxidation state in the transition elements. Certain things are important, should be known to us. They will become questions in the paper in one or the other form. It's not always that whatever we are saying is coming, but the trends and important questions are being discussed in order to give a good revision of the course also. Which one of the following is not an actinoid, student? Now here we should have a list of what are lanthanides, what are actinoids, because those elements you can see for the first time, even we don't remember their names, and it is not easy that I will be able to remember the names of all the lanthanides and actinoid series. So they have given a question on that now, which is not an actinoid.
Terbium.
Terbium is where?
It's a lanthanoid.
Terbium is a lanthanoid. They are all belong to the actinoids. Uranium. What is the importance of uranium?
Uranium is a radioactive element.
What is the importance? I am saying that we know is radioactive. We already said actinoids are radioactive elements. What it is used for? Well, there is so much demand of the uranium. Nuclear fuel. The nuclear fuels are in great demand. Fuel, every time fuel is required. So we should know the uses of lanthanides and actinides. Some question will be there on that. My question, the reason I asked this question. The uses of lanthanides, actinides are important. Where are they are used, for what purpose, we should learn them and know them. As I said, my purpose is to make you read more and more, students. You read more, get more and more information, more and more knowledge for the exams you are going. That is our point. I don't sit like this idle. Read more. In more detail, reading is required. You already know, but more reading. Which of the following would be diamagnetic, student?
Diamagnetic. Okay. Cadmium 2+.
We already know cadmium 2+ will be what? What will be the configuration of cadmium 2+? Again, we have to write the electronic configuration of each of them.
Yes,
if you
sir.
say cadmium 2+, I am saying what is the configuration of cadmium 2+? What is the configuration?
Configuration, it would be
Then how you are answering the question if you do not know the configuration? I mean, can you guess the answers like this in the paper? No. I am recommending that without doing, no answer be provided. Students, you have time to do the questions in exam and here also. When we will do it, we will learn it. Otherwise, we will not be able to learn the things. That's our point. Why we do so much work, why we spend so much time, it is very clear.
it should be Krypton 4D10.
See,
It should be cadmium 2 plus will be krypton 4D10.
so what I mean to say, we before we answer a question, we should know, because the configuration of this has also been asked in the paper. They ask you write the electronic configuration of cadmium 2 plus. You know which group is this? Which group is this, student?
It will be group 12.
Again and again, you are saying zinc, cadmium, mercury are not transition elements. You should know that group is very important. And they will ask some question on that electronic configuration and other things. Then they will become fully filled 3D10, 4D10, 5D10. You are aware of that. There are certain ways to understand and connect. There are tricks to remember also that we should apply when we are going for exams. Okay. So when we say 4D10, there is a 3D10. Above this, there is a 5D10. So you know which elements are these. They are saying group 12. See, next question is on the screen. Mish metal is an alloy of, what is mish metal, student? This question was asked. What is mish metal, mish alloy? What is the use of this? Where did we study this?
Mesh metal, it is used to make bullets and shells.
What is the composition of this?
It consists of lanthanum.
What is the composition?
Lanthanoid metal
How
and
much?
iron. 95% lanthanoid metal and iron will be 5%.
There
And
are some more things.
traces of calcium, aluminium, carbon, sulfur.
Carbon,
Sulfur, calcium, aluminium.
so what you see that we have to understand certain things are important. They may not ask this question. They will ask you what is the composition of mish metal, because this question has been asked in the paper. Next question. Maximum magnetic moment is shown by, maximum magnetic moment is shown by, students.
Shown by figure 8. Uh, 3d5.
It has maximum number of unpaired electron.
Yes, sir.
N is equal to 5. So what is the value of mu here?
5.9.
9 something. Huh? Okay. That such questions could be there in the paper. Next question. Maximum oxidation number of manganese is in. Find the oxidation number of manganese in all the compounds.
Yes, sir.
You find in every compound the oxidation number of manganese.
It should be KMNO4.
What is the oxidation number of manganese here?
In K2MnO4, it is +6.
+6 K2MnO4. How?
2x minus 3 +3.
+3. How? -8 +2. So
6 plus
plus
6.
+3. Then plus how much? +6.
Yes, sir, +6 only.
What is this?
In MnO2, it is +4. In KMnO4, it is +7. And in last, +4.
Okay. So this is the correct answer. Electronic configuration of Fe2 plus is
Fe2 plus. It is argon 3d6. C.
okay, because they will ask electronic configuration of few elements which are important. Because if it goes to Fe3 plus, then it becomes 3d5 stable. That is why it is readily oxidized to 2 plus to 3 plus. Question 8 is on the screen, students.
Chromium 3d5 4s1.
All right, those which are anomalous or different, they will be asked in the paper, students. Next question is on the screen. Increasing order of paramagnetism is. Question number 9 is coming. Now here again we should know the configuration of all of them
Yes, sir.
and see number of unpaired electrons. So you calculate the number of unpaired electron, students. Then you will answer the question. Increasing order of paramagnetism. Okay, you do it. Which has maximum number of unpaired electron? Paramagnetism.
Sir, C option.
You know, here there was a clue in this question. What is the clue? Increasing order, he says. The last one will be the maximum.
Yes, sir.
And what maximum can be there? If I know manganese 2 plus will be how much?
5 unpaired
Then
electrons.
maximum electrons unpaired can be only in manganese.
Yes,
So
sir. C.
only one is the where manganese is on the highest. So I may not attempt to. You see, sometimes I say there are intelligence involved in answering the question based on our experience of doing the questions. There is no intelligence without doing the question. And as you solve more and more, you will have some sense what would be the appropriate answer without doing it. I'm doing it, but at times I need not do it. I know now I have already done it, that I know this is the highest. There's nothing after this, not manganese only in one case. Sometimes they will give manganese in two cases. So only two choices remain. Rest I don't even see. So I would only tick mark this. I don't see this. So this helps me that without working on, I may get the answer. This is possible now. Next question, student. Copper sulfate dissolve in excess of KCN to give. If I add excess of KCN, what will be the product, student?
Uh, CuCN4, 3 minus A.
This is the correct answer. You know, all of them are complexes. So we should be careful. Which of the following is not a lanthanide element, not a length? You can see that the name of the lanthanide actinides are becoming important in many questions. Why? Because they are not familiar to us. Something which we don't use, they will ask questions on that. So students forget which is not a lanthanide. Question number 11, student.
Thorium,
Thorium is and belongs to
actinoid.
actinoid series. It belongs to actinoid series. Next question, which is colorless in water? Which is colorless in water, student? What is the condition I told you for color?
It should be scandium 3 plus.
What condition we told you for that substance will be colored or colorless?
Presence of unpaired electrons.
If unpaired electron is there, it will be colored. That condition is valid, student. And once we know what is the configuration of scandium 3 plus is 18 argon. This is talked a lot. It is will be always colorless. So I may not see the other answers again here. After reading the question, some judgment is there. We are writing so many times configuration of scandium 3 plus colorless. It's very stable. It forms only Sc3 plus because it becomes 18 argon, noble gas, stable. So this is always going to be important question. Which one is colored, student? Already some hint is there with me.
Yes, sir.
Scandium 3 plus is not colored. This is not colored.
Not
This is not
color.
colored. And then this is
Okay.
already there. I mean, here some judgment can be used. We are aware of it now. We have done so many questions on that. We may not even write the electronic configuration for these compounds. Question number 14. 14 is on the screen. Which one of the following titanium compounds cannot be prepared?
Um, K2TiO4.
This compound cannot be prepared. We already did that question somewhere. Question of electronic configuration of transition axis in +3 is argon 3d5. What is its atomic number?
And it should be 26 B.
If this is 18 plus 5, how much? 23 plus 3
23.
because it's 3, 26. So
26.
it should be easy for us to know. And write the configuration argon 3 plus 3. If I go to the original 4s2 3d 6, which element is this then? Which one is this? 26 atomic number. Which element is that? Iron.
Iron.
So question could be changed in any way. They can also name the element which plus 3 oxidation state has this configuration. Name the element. So question can be changed. We understand, we can do it. Next question, electronic configuration of copper 2 is 3d9, whereas copper 1 is 3d10. Which one of the following is correct? Copper 2 is more stable, copper 2 is less stable, copper and are equally stable. Stability of copper 2 depend on nature of copper salts. What is the correct answer?
Well,
Which oxidation state of copper is more stable, student? You know about it.
copper 2 plus.
All right, you know it. So, all right, then these are some of the ways questions to be answered and understood, and try to see the variation in the question. Go deeper and study more and more. That is the main thing. The more you study, the better you will be in the paper. Has any date been announced?
No, sir.
No date has been announced. Otherwise, when it was scheduled,
1st August.
let us see what happens. And because already board is a lot of confusion for the students in the TV. I've seen how they will grade the students. 10th class marks or 11. I don't know what is the scheme coming. So God knows what will happen. So all are in great, I mean, waiting for it, what will happen, student. I wish all the best. And I believe best and the best will come for the students, because I say good students should not suffer at any cost. This is very important. It's a question of our career. Students career is important, and those who have worked hard, they must get good marks, better marks, because this is related with admission. Okay, then we will meet you in the next class, students. My best wishes to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.